All right, I'm going to talk about utilizing video to further engagement, specifically in an environmental nonprofit setting. I'm the Community Engagement and Communications Director at SNA, and I started doing video work kind of by accident. It's always been a passion of mine. Back when I was a kid, we carry around the giant video camera on your shoulder and make silly videos in the forest, my friends and I. And of course, you couldn't really edit those because they were VHS tapes, but that's how I got my start. And then professionally, I started in education as an English teacher with a pipe dream to become a journalist. And when that didn't really work out, I moved into communications specifically for nonprofits. But all of these skills started to come together for me because, as you all I'm sure know, most nonprofit communication teams are either underfunded or a very small staff, or they don't exist and it's one person doing it all, usually the ED. So you build all these communication skills. And for me, what that was visual, video, writing, website content, social media. And then I became this kind of like multimedia person with a skill set. And because I had always enjoyed video, I started to hone my video skills for my work. And I want to show you a few examples of how that work changed. So this first video was just one of my friends leaning out the window of my truck filming some hurricane destruction on the Big Island of Hawaii. And so I'm just going to show you a quick sample of each of these. But the point behind this was, at the time I was affiliated with a newspaper. I had no media capability really at all at the time beyond a small camera. And I drove down to the place where this hurricane had happened, and we were able to make a video that easily. So that's how easy it can be to create your own video. Later, I worked at a newspaper and helped produce a video series. This I did not film, but I learned a lot about video storytelling at the time. And so I'll show you a quick clip of this series called Tiny Porch Concerts, and later I'll talk about how storytelling is involved in your video work.
Switch it out for a corgi.
And it'll go into a concert. So totally separate feeling from the first video. And this third video is something that I created for a client. It's an artist introduction for his website. Important to note that this was created entirely with no tools at all except an iPhone 12 mini, which is my personal phone. And you will see that each of these three videos elicit a totally different feeling.
Hi, my name is Aaron Noble, and I'm an artist from Northern California. I create multidimensional geometry drawn digitally and based on the Platonic solids.
And so with this video in particular, I wanted to show you the power of creating your own storyline with what you've got. This was filmed in this person's backyard, no tripod, just holding the phone in my hands, and then sitting in his living room next to some plants he already had, and then sitting at his computer. So you don't need fancy technology to create a video or a storyline, and you can definitely set up a story based on what you already have around you. Oops. Okay. Okay, so some of the early tools were much less accessible. We had camcorders, VHS, then mini tape. We had Windows Movie Maker, iMovie started to come about on MacBooks. We had digital cameras, cell phones, but they weren't great. Now, today's tools make video super easy to create. You can do it with your cell phone, which you can max out your settings, and most phones, probably the one you have in your pocket right now, can even shoot in 4K, which is an extremely high definition way of making video. So it's really accessible. Most MacBooks have iMovie. There's the Meta Suite, which is the Facebook and Instagram platform, and you can create videos within there. There are other online video tools. And then if you're going just a little bit more advanced, I personally use Adobe Premiere, which is a part of the Adobe Suite. Cost me $50 a month. And still, I think it's amazing how accessible financially that is compared to what it used to be. So there's not a huge financial investment. And then you can get audio from the YouTube audio library, which is a free way to get audio that you have permission to share. So we have heightened ability to do all of these things and more, structure our videos, post them, etc. Okay, so that's a little bit of background on video. I'm going to get into how to create it, when to use it, and all of that stuff in just a second. But I wanted to pause and touch on what is really the point. So nonprofit communications, to me, are the intersection of development and messaging. So the only way that someone is going to care about what you're doing at your organization is if you communicate what you're doing to them. And the only way that you're going to make progress with your organization is if you find buy-in. So your communications team, whoever it is crafting this message to explain to people what you're doing, and then that's getting people to buy in, donate, show up at your events, read your newsletters, all of these things that have an emotional connection to them so that that can help further what you're doing, be it conserving watersheds or saving people from cancer. You are creating some way to communicate why this matters and getting people to agree that it matters to them. And along those lines, studies show that the emotional area of the brain can process sensory information 20% faster than the cognitive area. So basically, when we're creating content, aka videos, for social media or our website, we want to create something that makes someone feel emotional. Emotional content is much more likely to be responded to, and visual content is 40 times more likely to be shared than text. So there's a bunch of different ways when you're creating these videos that you can create a story arc. These are just a few examples that came from my writing background. And think about this like you're looking from the left-hand side and following an arc. So a triangle would be like a crux in the middle of a story. If you're telling a story, say, about I don't know, protecting a particular watershed or something like that, then the high point of your story is going to be the most emotional part of the story. Did someone's life get impacted? Did some species die off? Something like that. And then you're going to resolve back down at the end to a more mellow, kind of happy ending. You have your circle where you kind of go all around the issue and you talk about all the different parts of it and sort of loop back. And then you have other shapes. This one here would be like you kind of start a little bit on a happy point or a lower point. You build up to the main issue. You talk about it for a while, and then you resolve at the end. But there's many other formats. A good storyline is like a good conversation. So when you're wanting to create a video, the first thing to ask yourself is, if you were going to make a video about, say, this forestry program that you have, what would be the one or two main points that someone would care the most about if you had a conversation about this? And then you're going to structure your whole video around that. Okay, different types of video and their uses. So social media, our short videos today we call Reels. That's just a name for these little short clips. In social media like Instagram or Twitter or can't remember the name of it. Okay, anyway, moving on. These social media platforms, they're places to put short videos. We call them Reels. So what would be some examples of different types of Reels that you've seen recently?
TikTok videos.
Totally.
Of just somebody doing something funny or interesting or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. TikTok. I had a total brain fart. TikTok, yes. So we've got informational or educational. What would be another type of short video you've seen on social media recently?
In the summer, we'll do a lot of short videos of like post-restoration project or a clip of field work, that kind of thing.
Totally. Yeah, so that's an awesome example. What he's kind of getting at is it's a short clip of something that's like a bigger project or a bigger thing you'd want to learn about after seeing the video. So you're using that as a teaser. Other examples of social media short reels would be like a quick fundraising ask or a social media follow contest, which we just did, where you post a video basically just of, someone having fun or someone caring about something or someone doing something that really attracts a lot of general audience. And the point is just to have people follow you because your video is entertaining. Other types of video would be longer format, YouTube or website hosted video. We've got like full length informational videos, videos about your programming. There's live videos like webinars, speaker events, which you can then take and post produce and put back on your website. Fundraising appeal videos that are longer. And what's notable about these types is they can be embedded in your newsletters, shared as links, downloaded by your followers, etc. So there's a lot of power in the way that you post these types of videos because a lot of people can have easy access to them for free. You've already made the investment and created the video, so why not link to it in a bunch of different ways that people can use that content? So the two types are related because when you put your short teasers on social media, that's what's going to drive people to your longer videos or your website. So you always want to have some link between the two different types. Okay, types of engaging social videos. So here are just a few ideas. There are many other things to do. But we know statistically that people respond better to imagery, specifically video, over just a static image. So one thing to think about that you can do with just your phone and a few photos of whatever your program is or whatever your organization's up to is turn a slideshow into a reel. You can do that using the app on your phone. You can do that using Meta, which is the business suite for Facebook and Instagram. It's integrated. And then you can pick out music and you can share it right there. And then already we know that statistically you're going to get more engagement by turning, 6, 7 photos into a slideshow than if you just posted 6 or 7 different slides for people to swipe through. Another thing we've done at the Alliance is introduce our programs or staff through a short video rather than just a static post. So, for example, once a week we have a snap feature and we used to post photos. Now we've been doing it through Reels. So people get to see the face of SNA, what that Snap member is interested in. It's usually like a fun background kind of video. And we're doing that instead of a static photo. We've run social media engagement contests, which I talked about. And then this is a really important one, which I touched on in the last screen, but trimming short teasers and making reshares of longer videos to drive traffic to the original source. So if you make a long video about a program that's really awesome and you put that on your website, you should also make a 30-second or even 15-second little clip of that video and put it on social media. And then you're going to link between the two of them so that people can see that they're there. Last, there's obviously the power of live video, which you can use for check-ins during events, fundraisers, etc., as another way to engage people and have them feel like they're a part of your organization without actually being there. Okay, the world of social media. So this is just an example to show you. Here is a very short video clip, I think it was 20 seconds or something, of a much longer clip about the Bishop Paiute tribe, who's a Snap post site for us. And so this is just an example of how you could structure a teaser post. And then here is the longer video.
Hello, my name is Brian Atkins, and I'm the Environmental Director of the Bishop Paiute Tribe.
Tom Gusty, the Natural Resource Coordinator for the Bishop Paiute Tribe Environmental Management Office. We host the Snap AmeriCorps
And so I wanted to show you this just to give you a few more ideas. I did create this video as far as the editing, but I did not do the filming or any of the photographing. So one cool thing that we can do with technology is have people who are actually at conservation sites or in other places or traveling to some kind of event to create this content for us, as long as we, say this is what we're looking for, and then send it back to the member of your team who might be at home able to make that video or do the editing. So it's a collaborative effort, kind of using what you have and the tools that you have. You certainly don't have to hire a film crew and say, hey, I need you to go out to this field site in March because that's the only time we're going to be there. If you have a staffer already there, that is the best time to get content for free. And in this case, I sent Maggie, our Snap member, a list of about 4 or 5 different qualifications to make this video. And she was able to make the content really without any direction. A couple of those suggestions to her were: make sure that you are getting film from roughly the chest up. Make sure you do a test so that you can hear the person's voice, and make sure that when you're asking them the questions that I've asked you to ask them, that you ask the question and then there's a pause in between and then they respond, so that I, as the person trimming it, can hear the context but not have to be really crazy with my trimming, and have a pause so that I can work with this material. So if you are experienced with video, that's just another tip. And here are some uses for longer videos.
Hello, my name
Okay. Live videos and post-production of live videos. I just wanted to give you a quick example of why this matters. At one point I worked on an educational video series that was produced live, so you would log on to it like a webinar. And I just want to show you the difference between these two because it's pretty powerful. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a special time slot of Lunch with a Scientist. My name is... So that was introduction number 1.
Thank you to Seroptimus International of Truckee Donor for sponsoring this video.
Hello everybody, welcome to this week's Lunch with a Scientist.
That was introduction number 2. What difference did you all notice?
The tone and cadence.
The tone?
Yeah, the tone and the cadence of it, the timing of, how quick you're getting that information out is also a little bit different.
Okay, it's tricky because they're not both hosted by me, but the correct answer, there's no correct answer. One of the answers I was hoping you might notice is video B has an introduction. So both of these videos where you log on and you just see the person. But video B, we took it, downloaded it, and then added music and the sponsorship thing to the beginning. So it ends up looking like a much more polished production. So I'm saying this because you might have internal Zooms at your organization, which you just kind of are talking casually and there's no introduction or ending slide at the back, but you can go back, download that video and package it with a cover slide, with a slide at the end that has a donation link and things like that. And then all of a sudden it becomes this awesome package that you can reshare that looks a little bit better than just, hey, welcome to Zoom. It's Thursday the 22nd. So that's just another suggestion. Okay, here are a couple more Alliance examples. For time's sake, I'm only gonna play one of them, but recently we made a video about our forestry program. This is posted on our YouTube, Facebook, our website, in our website header, and we posted a teaser on our social media. So a lot of different ways to link between them.
My name is Taylor Parker, and I'm the Forestry Program Director for the Sierra Nevada Alliance. The Sierra Nevada Alliance's forestry program is special because of the people who...
And again, I want you to understand that this is created with as little resource as possible. So Taylor, our forestry director, I emailed him and said, again, please film yourself from the chest up. Please respond to these questions. He did it on his phone and sent me an email. This shot you're seeing here is a screenshot from the Zoom. The last photo you saw was a photo that was taken last year, and the music is free rights music that I got from YouTube Library. So it's very, very not resource heavy. It was very quick to create this. And although I did create this with Adobe Premiere, it could have very easily been created even on a phone with using the Instagram Reel format. So there's a lot of different powerful options that you can do that are not resource consumptive.
My name is Taylor Parker.
Okay, so here are some suggestions for tools. As far as cameras go, a cell phone is really the best way to go in my opinion. It's lightweight, it's high quality, we all already own one, but you can also use a digital SLR camera. There are mirrorless lightweight cameras, depending on the budget of your organization. These are all consumer available. The benefit, again, we're talking about minimizing resources to using a cell phone, is that if you're sharing between people working on this project or you live far away, you can use text or email, Bluetooth, AirDrop. There's other ways that you can share very seamlessly from your phone to someone else's phone or computer. Please just do keep in mind that when you text someone a video, it compresses that video. So if you're doing something very large format, you would want to opt for email or AirDrop or something else. These are some examples of video software. Most of them are free. As I said, Premiere is fairly affordable, especially if you have an educational affiliation. I believe it's half the price. Suggested, maybe, that you look into a tripod. You can use an actual tripod, but I've also used stacked up books. I've used rocks. I've used my hands just kind of locked onto a surface. And at another organization I was at, someone used a stick and some tape. So really, it's possible with any budget. A microphone is great. Usually your phone is going to be good enough, but always test the audio. You don't want to film an entire something and then realize you can't hear the person speaking. If you do need a microphone, they're very cheap on Amazon or at other electronic stores. A computer, sometimes. You can do a lot of video work just using the Meta suite or Instagram Reels or creating it on TikTok. And then just kind of a dream budget would be to have a gimbal, which is a device that your phone connects to. And as you move this sort of handheld stick, it helps the camera pan very smoothly. If you're wanting to take your video to the next level, that would be another option. I'm going to finish with a few tips and tricks, and then we can do a few quick questions. For social media, remember to go short. So we're talking like 60 seconds max, but really they're just kind of like a flash of information that's really exciting to get people interested in what you're doing. Use social media posts for emotional, appealing, but general enough content that you're going to loop people in who might be on the fringe of caring about your organization, rather than something super, super specific, like you're only going to follow us if you care about beavers. You want to find some general appeal. For social media, remember that you can create a video out of a slideshow. It doesn't have to be actual video content. And remember, you can trim longer videos and share them as teasers. Do remember that there are two different types of videos. So widescreen is considered a 16:9 ratio. That's that long skinny rectangle. If you're posting on TikTok or Instagram, it's a 9:16 format. You should decide what you want to use beforehand, not later. So an example would be if I took a video this way with my phone and it was a big landscape, if I go later to want to make it a social media video, you'd have to keep in mind that only this much of the video is actually going to show because I'm trimming the center of the image. So just decide what you want to do beforehand, not later, especially if you're filming a subject, so you don't cut the subject off in the side of the video, which I myself have done. Another tip is to create a cover slide and an outro. It's super simple. Most of our organizations have Canva. You could even do this in Google Slides. It makes your video look 10 times better if you have a quick introduction slide, even if it's just a still photo from the video with your logo popped in the little corner. Having that introduction slide is going to make it look that much more professional, and it's so time efficient. And then an outro would be your website or your logo or your call to action. And then remember to cross-promote between platforms. For long format, we always use standard widescreen dimensions, which are some form of 16:9. So 1080 by 1920 is one typical example. Go for as high quality as you can. So if you're using a phone, up it to that 4K or max quality. And my recommendation is once you have actually made your video, go ahead and dump your raw footage. Some people are attached to saving it, but it'll take up a lot of room on your phone. You don't need it. You've made your finalized video. If you've got it up on YouTube, that's permanent storage. So don't feel like you have to be bogged down with keeping this video that you no longer need. YouTube audio library is there. Remember that adding music helps cover up that little bit of white noise. So if there's someone talking and a little bit of a buzz in the background or something, music will cover that up and make the transitions feel nice and smooth. Do not use copyrighted material, so don't just grab a song that you recorded with your phone or something. You should be hosting your video via YouTube or Vimeo and then embedding in your website or your eBlast. Don't try to host it on your website unless you have a really strong web team. That'll bog down your website, and it's just so easy to link to YouTube. Don't forget about your branding. Include your logo where you can. Create an intro or an outro slide just to remind people who you are. Create a donate slide, especially if it's a video about one of your programs. Just flash to it at the end. And remember your storyline. It could be like a piece of writing. Some people even think of it as a math equation. This plus this equals this outcome. However you want to think about it, remember that your videos are stories. And that is my advice.